After God are unscripted conversations about our search to better connect with reality as we experience it and to find meaningful ways to live in an often chaotic world.
We are looking for the pervasive bonds of relationship and wholeness that we call God.
In this sense, we are after God as a pursuit of the greater whole of all things.
We have also found that the ways God has been imagined and described in previous centuries, many times by men and women we admire for their thought and spirituality, set a trajectory which begs for further engagement and exploration in our time.
They urge us to go beyond their work to build on it. In that tradition, we aspire through openness and curiosity to search for God after God.
After the descriptions of previous eras no longer speak as powerfully in our world today. We are attempting to sit again at the feet of Jesus, as many have before.
And hear what he says about the one he calls Father. We welcome you to listen in and perhaps join in. Well, I've been really excited about this conversation ever since you shared the idea about it, because I think it's something that is really important to discuss and something I've even dealt with in my life. I'm sure, I mean, we all have.
Yeah,
We all
yeah.
have.
It's
But
ubiquitous,
yeah,
actually.
yeah. But the time that, this idea came up, this was kind of all up in our reality and especially people around us. So I yeah, I want to just get into it and try to figure out how we can make sense of faith, maybe to begin with, and then how naturally faith is something that is um, shifting, is transforming, and we're all going to lose some form of faith at every point of our journey.
So we came up with this idea we talked about last week. What if we just talk about losing faith
Mhm.
and what does that look like? And in some ways, I'm interested in normalizing it. In other words, saying it's a part of the process rather than like this thing to be feared, like, oh no, if I were to lose my faith, and not just in a religious sense, but in any
Uh,
sense, is it not just kind of part of the human experience? Um, so yeah, like you said, maybe we can start with saying, well, what are we talking about faith? Not
mhm.
just religious faith,
Yeah.
but just faith in general.
Hmm.
Um, I think of it as, I mean, in a basic sense, it's some sort of confidence
Hmm.
that I have.
Yeah.
So I could have faith in, I could have faith in what I've been taught, what I studied in school,
Hmm.
studied in college. I could have faith in um, science and what scientists tell us. Um, I could have faith in, advice I've been given, or I could have faith in my own abilities.
Hmm.
Um, I could have faith in humanity,
Yeah.
you know? And sometimes we lose our faith in humanity.
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, I've been it's disappointing." Like, I thought people, would be, whatever, maybe, uh, more loyal, they would be there for me, and I
Yeah.
kinda you could lose faith in a friendship,
Uh-huh.
you know? So I think in a general sense, it's some sense of confidence
Yeah.
that grounds us.
Hmm.
I don't know, how are you thinking about
Yeah,
it?
I like the word confidence. I think I probably would say trust. That
Yeah.
that I mean that is similar vein. So it's like, what are you landing on, right? At the end of the day, what is something you're like, okay, this is what I can rely on to hold me up, to I don't know, hold my existence, right? All these things kind of inc- incorporated into that idea of trust.
Yeah. I mean, when you're saying that, I'm thinking even, when we question that, like a really good magician can make you question what your eyes see,
Hmm. Yeah.
because you're like, but generally, we're pretty confident what I'm sensing, what I
Yeah.
see, what I hear. I can trust that.
Yeah.
But then a good illusionist, or person with sleight of hand is like, wow,
Hmm.
now I can't really believe my eyes
Yeah.
because I'm being tricked.
Uh-huh.
Um, and so that's kind of a minor example, but it's the same phenomenon.
Mm.
Like you said, I've kind of grounding of what I'm trusting in, what I'm relying on. In a normal course of a day, I rely on what I see.
Yeah.
I trust that what I'm seeing is helping me navigate the world. But yeah, in a certain instance, I could start to doubt that and go,
Mhm.
well, maybe I can't always trust what I see.
Yeah.
And certainly in an age of AI
That's
generated
right.
media,
Yeah.
Can you trust what you can see?
Yeah.
Well, not if it's presented as a digital format.
Mhm.
It could be completely fabricated, you
Yeah.
know?
And often there's some signs and some hints, right? You
Yeah.
have the eyes to know what to look for. It's like, "Oh, this is AI."
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so, maybe today we at least in some ways ought to be a little more skeptical that we just can't trust everything we
That's right.
see, especially if it's presented.
Mhm.
But so in that sense, it's we're always losing faith in some way,
Mhm.
kind of losing a confidence, but we need to replace it with something else because if I lose confidence in anything,
Yeah.
well, then I don't know. I mean, how do you move forward in life?
Yeah. You have to be grounded in something,
Yeah,
right? And it's one thing to say, "Okay, this is not trustworthy anymore, so I'm gonna consider this," but to say, "I'm not gonna do anything," like, I mean, why live?
right, right.
You have to be grounded in something.
Yeah, otherwise it seems like it's kind of meaninglessness and
Yeah.
despair
That's right.
and, um, yeah, you've got no way to, move forward in life. So,
You gotta
um
leave your house.
yeah,
You
yeah,
gotta
that's
you
right.
gotta be able to drive and, just basic things. You gotta be able
Yeah,
to do these things.
yeah, and yeah, and if you have some really unsettling experience and you
Mhm.
just don't feel as confident, you kinda have to figure out, "How can I regain some confidence, some way of moving forward?"
Yeah.
Yeah, leaving the house. And I think about this as a natural part of growing up. There's a lot of things that we believed, and thought to be the case as children,
Mhm.
as we're growing up,
Yeah.
and it was actually a good thing
Mhm.
that we lost confidence in that.
Mhm.
And so, some of those things are overly simplistic. In other words, something we believed as a child was overly simplistic. It wasn't as nuanced. It wasn't as you know uh, shaped by the actual complexity.
Mhm.
And sometimes we were appropriately by teachers or parents or whatever told simplistic things because we weren't able to handle it.
Yeah.
But when you grow up, you kind of like, okay, so everything isn't that simple.
Mhm.
So you're losing confidence in what you've thought, but it's a part of growing. It's actually a part of coming to a new confidence.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's just going deeper and
right,
right, and going beyond I mean, the surface, and then I mean, you have to have some type of beginning part,
right.
and something has to get you into the conversation. And so maybe it's a small concept and idea, and then it goes further.
Yeah, yeah. So I remember, um, once I told my mother I was probably like 10 or 11 that, uh, that America was always on the right side of all their wars.
Mhm.
We were always the good guys.
Wow.
And my mom said, well, sometimes maybe America gets what they want in other means.
Mm.
It was kind of like to a 10-year-old who was thinking we're always the good guys. She's like, well, maybe it's a little more complex.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not that
Yeah.
black and white.
Yeah.
And that's just part of like, I don't know, growing up. You
Uh-huh.
you realize
You're
the
not always
story's
the
more
hero.
nuanced.
Yeah, you're not always the hero in the
Yeah,
story.
yeah. Yeah, I'm not always on the side of good and everyone else is the problem. Sometimes I'm a part of the problem. I'm not the whole problem either, but it's complicated. So we lose confidence in us in a version of reality that we have been thinking about and depending on in order to find hopefully a deeper, more accurate, more nuanced,
Mhm.
um, and more humble,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm not the hero anymore, it's a more humble view of reality.
Yeah.
So, um, sometimes when people have told me they've lost their faith religiously, I mean, my response is, well, maybe that's a good thing because if you lost it, it wasn't worth keeping.
Mm.
And of course, they're feeling like it's an all or nothing. Like
Yeah.
faith is this one thing. Either you hold it in this manner or you don't have it at all.
Uh-huh.
And I'm thinking, no, there's many versions. I mean, I don't know how many times I could say I've lost my faith.
Mhm.
Now, not like I gave up on there is some sort of reason for living
Yeah.
and that sense can be made of a better way, a good way to go about life.
Mhm.
It's not that I gave up on that,
Yeah.
but I certainly gave up on how I was thinking what that was.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And all of a sudden it was like, I don't know that that is really it anymore.
Mhm.
Um, so in that sense, I think every time we grow, we have to lose a little to gain a little.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe that can make us realize and others realize it's not an all or nothing thing.
Mhm.
It's not, I've got to hold it only in this fashion. Well, it's like what we've been saying with these conversations. We want some openness and curiosity to explore how can we further understand the reality of a kind of cohesiveness that is
Mhm.
God that binds everything, relates us all together. What does that look like?
Mhm.
Um, and we're taking the assumption there's more than what we've currently thought,
Yeah.
how we've believed
Mm.
that there's more.
Uh-huh.
Reality is extends beyond our present grasp of it.
Uh-huh.
So we're kind of oriented towards I expect I'm going to lose the version of faith I have now.
Mhm.
Um, and that's a good thing.
That's right.
Hey.
Wow. As you were saying that, I was thinking that the world is always ending. Like,
Oh,
I mean, in some way, your world is coming to an end, like, it always, to some degree, right? 'Cause maybe your trust in this particular idea or person is failed, so now, like, you're shattered a little bit, so it's like, that's the end of the world as you know it,
right,
right? And that's something that we hear quite a bit in our community, that idea, but, like, the world is always ending. 2000, they thought the world was gonna end because there's gonna be something that we don't know about that we're embarking into. We're going into this, so it feels like the end of the world because maybe there's something, that we were grounded in or confident in or trusting that's kinda being questioned right now.
right. And that's the only way that something else can be, the metaphor of death and rebirth or resurrection.
Mhm.
The only way is for it end for a new beginning to happen. So it's kind of like our seasons. You've got to have all the leaves fall off the trees in
Yeah,
the fall and
that's
all of
right.
them look bare before you can have spring again.
Yeah,
And if that cycle, holds true as kind of a template for reality, that's what's happening.
that's right.
Yeah. The world is always ending
Mhm.
and yet it's being reborn,
That's right.
something new.
Mhm.
So yeah, I like that. Yeah. Our world's always ending.
Mhm.
Um, and one of the things I was thinking about, so I think a lot of people today, younger people, maybe some of them were told if you go to college and you get a degree,
Mhm.
you'll be able to get a good job
Yeah,
and buy a home, kind of the American dream.
yeah.
And it doesn't hold true anymore.
Mhm.
And there's like, no, I went to school and school's so expensive and now I'm
Yep,
indebted
that's
and I
right.
can't earn enough to actually hardly pay my school
Mhm.
loans, much less buy a house.
Uh-huh.
And so the whole idea of quote unquote the American dream, which maybe was true 40 years ago
Uh-huh.
for people in college like I was in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, you were kind of promised that,
Uh-huh.
but we didn't come out of school with so much debt and there were jobs.
Mhm.
Um, and so, that's died.
Yeah.
Like the faith that that is true
Yeah.
is gone for a lot of people.
Mhm.
And so now, how do we look at the world
Mm.
when my faith had in that promise is dead? Like
Mhm.
I know that's just not how it is. But maybe it will be again someday, but it's not right
Yeah,
now.
that's right.
you know,
Yeah.
who knows what the future will hold?
Uh-huh.
But now, if someone tells a person that they should roll their eyes and go, "No, I don't think so."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
no,
So
empty.
it works until it doesn't,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So maybe at some point, yeah, this was the template and this was how people got what they were looking for, but now that's not the case anymore. So are we able to be honest about that? I think that's an important part of it. Like this is a new reality, and maybe it was true for me, but maybe it's not true anymore, right? Can we be honest about that, and then embark into maybe what's next?
yeah. So maybe we pick up that part of the discussion now. Um, yeah, how do we then, if this is reality, and we're just in some ways trying to normalize and say it's a part of life, it's
Mhm.
a part of the constant change of culture and the world, it's a part of growing up. So it's going to happen, and it's going to happen with religious ideas. It's going to happen with all kinds of
Yeah.
ideas. Um, we were even nutrition things that we were told, you know, don't eat this, do eat this. It changes.
That's
And it
right.
changes because further research reveals, well, maybe the problem wasn't
Yeah.
fats, maybe it's more refined
That's right.
sugars. But, so again, that's that's just if we expect that. Now the question is, so how then do we adjust to a new reality?
Mhm.
How do we not feel like our world is falling apart and can never be put together again? I think of the Humpty Dumpty thing,
Mm.
it's like he can't be put back together.
Yeah.
I don't need a fragile world that when it's shattered, all there
Mhm.
are pieces
Yeah.
and it can't be reassembled.
Yeah.
That's also not reality
Mhm.
because people throughout the millennia, human beings have dealt with these kinds of changes. Their world has been dying
Yeah.
and being reborn.
Mhm.
And so how do we deal with that? And I like your ideas. One of the first things is we got to name it for
Yeah.
what it is,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
Name it for what it is and accept it.
Yeah.
Like this is the human existence. Um, that's just reality.
Yeah. So,
That's what
maybe accept it, but also expect it. Like,
right,
change is going to happen. Like, we can't stop change from happening.
right.
So there's gonna be a constant, like, rethinking of everything, to some degree because things are changing.
Yeah. And it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's the way even, human civilization, culture, technology has made whatever progress it has. I
Mhm.
know that all progress is not purely good. We see negatives
That's
to
right.
the progress, but there have been things that were progress in a good direction.
Mhm.
So I think our humanity often has changed. So this change has a good aspect to it. Yeah, expect it.
Mhm.
Um, the loss of what was, but the coming of something new.
Mhm.
Yeah, we can anticipate it,
Yeah.
look forward to it. But how do we navigate it?
Yeah.
How do we navigate it?
Mm. So maybe one thing that we can be grounded in is community. Maybe there's something about being around people as like our lives end, as things change and our world ends as we know it to be.
Okay, yeah. So looking for some continuity in the midst of change.
Yes,
I really like
relational
that idea.
relational continuity.
Yeah, yeah, and even though relationships evolve and
Yeah,
can
that's right.
change too, um, but yeah, that sense that in a communal sense, we are in this together.
Yeah,
Like we're all in the same
yeah,
boat and
that's
we're
right.
trying to navigate
Uh
these
huh.
waters. Um, yeah, you've got a good point because doing it alone,
Yeah,
I think has got to be way more frightening
that's right.
than if I have a sense that, hey, we're attempting this together
Uh huh.
and we're going to stick with each other through thick and
Yep.
thin, and we'll navigate this and we'll find uh, how to how to conceive of life, how to how to have confidence in something when the old has withered in some way, doesn't offer the life. Yeah, I like that idea. Um, and one of the ideas I was thinking of is realizing what we're doing either on a big scale or even in small ways is we're kind of uh, faith swapping is what I might
Mm.
call it. It's like I'm shifting. eh,
Hmm.
Um, in a small sense would be go back to the nutritional thing. I read some article and they say, hey, you really need to try and avoid this,
Uh-huh.
or you need to do more of that exercise. It's been found to be beneficial. Well, I'm making little swaps. I mean, again, it's not earth shattering,
Uh-huh.
but I was thinking, oh, I don't need to do this or I need to do that. And then someone says, well, let's tweak that a little bit.
Mm.
And so I just make a little change. And so I adopt, you know, a, something else into my diet, or I try and remember, okay, I need to do that as an exercise,
Mhm.
or, be active in this way. Um, so it's just little switches, like switching from one thing to another.
Yeah,
And it's easier when it's small
that's right.
and it's not as threatening,
Uh-huh.
but it's even the same when it's a larger thing.
Mm.
Um, it's I have to switch from something to something, from an old to a new. Um, and sometimes when I'm saying that, I'm thinking, well, and sometimes there's a little bit of experimenting
Mhm. Yeah.
involved.
That's right, yeah.
Um, because it's unknown, I have to play with it a little bit.
Yeah.
I got to try it on.
Yeah,
I got to try it out.
and fail.
And yeah, and it
Yeah.
may not be where I land.
Yep.
Um, but I can have that kind of hope that, but I'm gonna land somewhere at some point.
Mhm.
If this isn't working, I'm gonna try a different approach towards life or a different way of looking at things. And maybe my first attempt won't be the where I end up.
Yeah.
But again, that's been, I think the human experience of generations before us.
Yeah.
Um, but it's kind of that determination, like, but I'm just going to keep trying because somewhere I'm going to find something that's more life giving,
Mm, mhm.
um, a new approach, a new way of thinking,
Yeah.
believing, uh, of having confidence.
So in that way, faith is closely tied to hope,
Yeah.
right? Because we're hoping that no, we have hope that maybe we're landing somewhere eventually. Eventually, things may be um, more settling, even if it's more settling for a little bit, and then maybe eventually it'd be more settled permanently. Like maybe these are some of the things that we think of when we think about faith and hope being together.
Yeah, and I don't think I don't. I could see someone saying, "Yeah, but that's just kind of wishful."
Mm,
But I think it's borne out by experience.
mm,
If we're grounded in experience, we've all had unsettling times,
yeah,
um, and and maybe that lasted for a little while. But if I look back, I'm like, okay, but I did find a place. I mean, my own history has shown me that I did find a place where I can have confidence again, a kind of
yeah,
groundedness.
uh-huh,
But maybe for a while it was uncertain for me and I was very uncomfortable. But I did land somewhere. And so it's not kind of a wishful thinking that's not based on anything. It's actually based
that
on experience.
yeah,
Not only mine, but others.
mhm,
If we listen to the wisdom of others,
uh-huh,
they may say, uh, "Oh yeah, been there, done
yep,
that."
yeah,
When it's our first time and we're like, "Well, what did I do?" And someone older and more experienced says, "Been there, done
yeah.
that."
Which is another benefit of community.
Right, right. They're saying, "You'll survive,
Yeah,
you'll make it."
yeah,
And so, yeah, they give us some pointers about, this too, the phrase, "This too will
yeah,
pass." It's kinda like, where did that wisdom come from? Is there any truth to that? Or I think there
yeah,
is, it's like realizing, um, with time, things, you know, are moving in, a direction that can be good
mhm,
if I can embrace it.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't have to, be in despair or feel like all meaning's lost.
yeah. And it's something that also may appear to be cliche, but it might be helpful. Is yeah, things around us externally may not change, but we might change, and how we engage with these things, right?
Yeah.
We may okay. I used to be worked up about that. Now it's like okay, this is it's just what it is. What it is, and we're able to somehow find peace and deal with things, even if the things externally don't change.
Right. Right. Yeah, yeah, that's a great point. I mean, when where does the change occur? It's
Yeah,
probably both a mix in the external and in the internal, um, and I may not even be able to really know which changed.
yeah,
I just know my reality changed, like my experience changed. Did I change? Did it change?
yeah.
Who knows? But it is different. Um, yeah, I get this email from the Enneagram Institute that's tailored to my type.
Hmm.
And one of the things that one of those emails said was, kind of when we when we deal with things internally, the external world like reacts to us differently.
Mm,
And it was saying the internal change often precedes the external. Like the world seems to treat me different,
uh-huh.
but it's because maybe I started treating the world different. Like you're saying, if I'm really anxious, well, then the world seems
That's
anxious.
right. Yeah.
But if I can learn to uh, be less anxious about things, then the world seems to present to me less anxieties.
Hmm.
Like the world seems to change
Yeah.
because I change.
Hmm.
So I think that's a great point. It's a good way to think about how do we move through all of this.
Yeah. Yeah. Take a deep breath, relax.
Yeah.
Recognize that, hey, this is reality, and maybe accepting of that, and also something maybe being excited about what could be,
Yeah,
right? There's an excitement about, okay, things are going to change, but there could be something new,
right.
something unexpected.
Yeah, some good that I have yet to, uh, find.
Yeah.
You think of any experiences for yourself particularly where
Yeah, I think about maybe getting out of college. When I was in school and getting the Bible training, going through the Bible courses, I didn't really question my professors. I wasn't at a place where I was at a place where like, oh, they're educated. They know what they're talking about. I'm just gonna trust that they have this framework and they're delivering me this information. I'm just gonna receive it. And so I would look at my classmates like that were going back and forth with the professors, like, what are you doing? He has a PhD. That was my framework.
right.
Then I graduated and got in a relationship with a girl that was Baptist, and I'm a different denomination, so she's asking me questions, and her dad is asking me questions because so all these things are happening. So I'm like, what do I think? And my professor, I know what my professors told me, but what do I think about this? So
Oh,
that's when I started to really think about, where do I go with this? Because these are real questions that she's bringing to me, and not just that. I was in a relationship with my dad. I'm talking to him more often about spirituality. So he would poke some holes in in my thinking too. It's like, oh yeah, you're this preacher, right? You're working at a church, but what about this, right? So I had all these people just kind of poking at me
right,
externally. So I'm like, oh, I have to wrestle with this. Um, so the relationship with the girl didn't work out, right? But
right.
but it was an opportunity to look at my own life and try to figure out, not just what my professors are saying or what my parents are saying, but what do I think about this? And so I started to wrestle with that and
Yeah,
number of years during that and trying to believe or maybe have the confidence to believe what I believe, right?
right,
Have the confidence to explore what I think I should explore. Because maybe the questions that I had were not the questions my professors were addressing, right?
right,
And even
right.
my parents. So that's kind of just getting on my own path a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and, just like we were saying at the beginning, and that's absolutely necessary.
Yeah,
When we talk about that, with kids growing up is at some point, the faith has to become their own, and it can't be just their parents'
that's
faith.
right.
And so at some point, that's gotta happen.
Hmm.
Um, and thinking about your example of your own, it's something external often. It could be a circumstance, it
Huh.
could be another person,
Yep.
something we've got everything seems neat and tidy until something raises a
That's right.
question, and then all of a sudden we're thinking, uh, "Wait a minute, this doesn't work anymore."
Uh huh.
Of course, the supreme example of that is Job.
Mm.
His world is neat and tidy. God helps good people. He's a good person. He's
Mm-hmm.
been prosperous. Everything goes great. The world is running like it should until that doesn't happen,
Mm-hmm.
right? Of course, his is an extreme example.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that's the whole point is
Yeah.
just throw out the most outrageous example. Imagine a person, everything that could possibly go
Yes.
wrong went wrong in
Yes.
24 hours. Where would that leave you?
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it explores that question. Well, how do you make sense of everything
That's right.
when something has, broken the way things seem to work?
Uh-huh.
And so for you, yeah, it's someone else raising questions, other people raising questions, and you have to start asking. Yeah, and good comes out of it, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, if we're not too afraid of the process, and say the faith I'm holding right now, the confidence, the way I look at things, it's not perfect. In fact, it never was and never will be.
Yeah.
So I talk about holding things lightly.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I mean, taking them seriously, but holding them lightly. In
Mhm.
other words, if I need to let go, I'll just let
Yeah.
go, right? But I let go for something else.
Mm.
Like I just don't let go for nothing.
Yeah.
I exchange it. I do the switching. Like if I let go of a view that has shown itself
Mhm.
to not be adequate to reality, then I need to. What do I pick up? How do I change that?
Yeah.
Um, reality is still but be kind to the person you meet.
Mhm.
I mean, that's grounded. That's a
Yeah.
grounded thing that I'm convinced, even if I got big questions about, my faith,
Mhm.
I'm still convinced that being kind to people is a good
That's
thing.
right.
And I just need to keep doing
That's
that.
right.
Like I
Yep.
just need to
Yep.
keep doing those basic
Exactly.
things, even if in my head I'm thinking, "Well, is there really a God?"
Yeah.
But I kinda intuitively know
Mhm.
kindness is good.
Mhm.
I enjoy it, other
That's right.
people enjoy it. This is a real good.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna well, if there's no God, I'm not gonna be kind
Yeah.
anymore. No, I'm still gonna be
Exactly.
kind.
Exactly. I still
Some
gotta drink water. I
yeah,
still gotta eat.
yeah, I like that. I like that. Grounded in small things,
Yeah.
while we wrestle with bigger things
Mhm.
in our heads sometimes.
Thanks for listening to this discussion. If you would like to continue this conversation with us, we'd invite you to share your thoughts in the comment section. We'd also invite you to share a question or topic you would like us to cover.
We would be happy to discuss any topic regarding life after God. And if you would be interested in being a guest on our podcast, we invite you to reach out via the email available in the video description or show notes.